This video is about the Iran hostage crisis. On the 4th of November 1979, the U.S. diplomats in Iran were taken hostage by Iranian students, and they were only released 444 days later. U.S. President was Jimmy Carter. The strong man in Iran was Ruhollah Khomeini. To be precise, Ruhollah Khomeini became the strong man during the time of this hostage crisis. To mention is the Shah Pahlavi, who was the emperor of Iran before. Now, the Shah, as emperor, led a mostly pro-Western regime, but also a very, very strict regime. During the 70s, a multi-layered opposition could form and could grow in strength. There were socialist groups, you have to allocate in the center-left of the political spectrum, and Islamic groups. They could all overcome the Shah, and the Shah left Iran in January 1979. The moderate center-left politician Mehdi Bazargan became prime minister and formed the government. In October 1979, the Shah arrived in New York for cancer treatment. As mentioned, on the 4th of November, approximately 400 Iranian students took over the U.S. embassy. They took the U.S. diplomats hostage, presented them to the public, and demanded that the Shah should be extradited to Iran. The U.S. refused. They said, "We will not negotiate with terrorists." The government Bazargan was completely surprised and resigned, and that made the way clear. They cleared the path for Khomeini to rise to power. But before that, the UN Security Council demanded the release of the hostages. They condemned the hostage taken, but nothing was happening. The US took measures now. They expelled all Iranians illegally in the US, stopped oil imports, and froze Iranian accounts. Then the Iranians tried a PR coup, didn't work out. Minorities supposedly suppressed in the United States were released, like women or Afro-Americans. Now, important for Iran, on the 3rd of December, Iran had a new constitution. Now Iran was an Islamic Republic and Khomeini was the supreme leader. Panama granted the Shah asylum, so a bit easier for the US. And to mention the Canadian caper. The CIA, with Canadian support, could fly out 6 diplomats to Switzerland and then to the US under cover of a movie production called Argo. There's also a Hollywood movie about this operation. Now the US cut all diplomatic relations and imposed economic sanctions. Furthermore, they tried now a commando operation. Navy SEALs were tasked to get the rest of the hostages out, but this operation failed in a sandstorm. In 1980, the Shah died in Cairo, so one problem had solved itself, if you will. But the problem was now, no diplomatic relations, no contact, how to establish or how to find a solution with Iran. And then Iran went to the Germans, and through German mediation, US and Iran could talk again. The demands were clear: unfreezing the Iranian accounts, no US intervention in Iran, and transfer of the Shah's asset. Now, to go on a more direct mediation, Algeria was asked during a UN meeting. Before Algeria took on its role, the hostages were committed to the Iranian government, and then there were the Algeria courts. There was a solution, and the hostages were flown out via Athens, Algiers, Frankfurt to New York. The cynical comment Khomeini made was, "Now we don't need them anymore." Carter suffered a clear defeat in the 1980 election against Ronald Reagan because he showed a very weak performance during the Iran hostage crisis, or he was simply not successful. In Iran, the Islamic State was firmly established, but Iran was internationally completely isolated. And from now on, there were long-time hostile relations between the United States and Iran. This was the Iran hostage crisis in 5.